Hey guys, excited to be back. I hope you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving. Mine was so fun. Got to go visit some family in Arizona, went to see Curtis and his family, and we had a great time. So today we are going to do Q&A. I'm excited to be back to do that with you guys. A lot of times I try to at least look at some of the questions before we get started, but today we have been going over meetings, going over some of the things that are going on in the office, the things that we're working on for you guys, the things that we're doing in our business. And so I hadn't even looked at the questions. So today we are just going to jump right into the questions, and I'm excited to see what you guys have been asking about. So first question today. Hey, welcome. I see some of you guys getting on. So Jackie, she says, today I enrolled a lady who is a friend of my sister. She bought a few items to help her with her rheumatoid. She bought a few items to help her with her irritation and discomfort in her joints. And these oils were copaiba, turmeric, Frankie, deep blue rub, and the polyphenol complex and DDR prime soft gels. I told her how much, and she agreed to go ahead. An hour later, I got a missed call, then a text message saying to cancel, it was too expensive. I think her husband has said something to her. I suggested maybe keeping a few items and reducing the order, but she wanted to cancel. I called customer service, managed to get the order stopped, and a full refund is being sent back to her credit card. But since then, I've had 3 text messages from mutual friends telling me and she puts it in quotes, letting me know this is what they're saying, that they're saying something kind of harsh about her, and saying that she says they're saying I'm disgusting for making her spend so much, that it's Christmas soon, and so on. I am shocked, as this is the first time it's happened. Have I handled it correctly by canceling the order as requested? Should I be doing anything else? I've tried calling her to tell her it's canceled, but she's not answering now. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sometimes this is the deal. When you are running your own business, the truth is sometimes those things will happen. Sometimes it's because of the way we handled it, and it's totally our fault. Sometimes it's that the other person is wanting to blame you and kind of going off on you, and that way they don't have to take responsibility because they decided to make the order. Sometimes it's a little bit of both. And so honestly, this is what I have found. It's almost always a little bit of both. Rarely is it really just that they're trying to be sassy and they don't want to take responsibility. Usually there are things that we can do better to make sure that that message comes across better, because for whatever reason, again, realize that there are very few instances on one side of the spectrum where it's all you, and very few instances where it's all them. Let's assume this isn't all them, because it didn't sound from that message like she's kind of not a very good person, or kind of acts that way all the time, that she's always that way, or that kind of thing. So the most important thing that you need to do in those kinds of situations is I'll talk about 2 things. Number 1, how you handle it now that the problem has occurred, and what you can do the next time to make sure this is less likely to happen. Okay, because that's usually the biggest issue that people are dealing with. So number 1, what do you do now that this has happened? Number 1, you absolutely need to take extreme ownership. I don't care if it's all them, or if it's all you, or if it's somewhere in between. It doesn't matter, because the truth is there was something about that situation. We can always do better. And so what I would do is, I love how you've been trying to reach out to her. She's obviously, it sounds like she's talking to other people about how upset she is about that. So since you can't get her on the phone, I would write her a text or an email, whatever is the best way to reach her. And of course, don't do it the way that's best for you. If I'm working with someone who's in the younger generation, then I might want to do a heartfelt message in an email, or I might want to handwrite it or whatever, because I'm thinking, oh, that's more special. But you know what? If their best way that they love to communicate is texting, then do it in a text. Do it what's best for them, because this is about making sure we're taking care of them. Now, we're not going to be codependent. What I mean by that is we're not going to be all about, oh my goodness, I need to make sure she feels better. No, it's not your job to make sure they feel better. They feel a certain way. We can care about that feeling. But now what we need to do is move forward and make sure they know we care. Because obviously there are some hard feelings for whatever reason. So what I would do is I would do exactly what you've done, try to reach her. But when I do reach her or text her, I'm going to say, I can't remember if you said her name. So I'll just use the name Suzanne. Okay, let's say it's Suzanne because Suzanne is on the call. So I'm going to use your name as with the example, all right? So I would say, hey, Suzanne, I just wanted you to know that I've been thinking about what happened with your order and I feel so bad. Do you feel bad? Hopefully you feel bad. I mean, I'm not talking to you, Jackie. I'm talking in general because obviously you feel bad and you care about it. But hopefully as people, we care about that and we feel bad. So don't ever lie. Don't say, I'm sorry I told you about oils. Are you sorry you told them about oils? No, don't lie about anything. Say exactly what you feel. And what I would feel is this. Pardon me. I am so sorry that that I approached it in a way that ended up creating some stress for you, because I totally want to help you. If this is not going to help you, then great, but I don't want it to hurt our friendship. And I've canceled the order. I'm so happy to do whatever it is that you need. And I don't know if you felt, you don't want to start going into the realm of what if. Maybe you felt this way, maybe you felt that way. So because you don't know what she feels. If you start saying, I didn't mean to make you feel stressed, that's frustrating for the other person, because when people do that to me, I'm like, I don't feel stressed. Don't put that on me because that's not what I'm thinking. What you want to do is don't say, I'm sorry you felt stressed. Say, I never wanted you to feel stressed. I never wanted you to feel like you were pressured or anything. Because you don't know if they felt pressured. You don't know if they just felt stupid when they talked to their husband and now the husband's like, forget it. We just decided we weren't going to spend more money for Christmas or whatever. Okay. So you don't know why that's happening and all you have is compassion for them. So you just absolutely keep it a little bit short and say, I just want you to know, I am so sorry that any of this happened and that we needed, I'm sorry. Don't say I'm sorry we need to cancel the order, because if you say that, that could be like, oh, I'm sorry we had to cancel the order because that was a sale for me. So be careful about that. Make sure everything you say could not be construed as something different. And that's what's wonderful about a text also. The hard thing about a text is that it can be mistaken. Your tone can be taken to mean something you didn't mean. So you darn well better make sure the wording is very clear about, I am so sorry that there was this hassle. I've got the order canceled. I hope you didn't feel pressured. I never wanted you to feel pressured, or, I just wanted to help you. And if this was something that helps you, great. If not, that is absolutely fine. And I just want to make sure it doesn't affect our relationship, because for me, it doesn't. Now, the reason you're doing this is for two reasons. Number one, you need to look at yourself and go, what could I possibly have done differently? And I want to care about this person, period. That's it. Because even if they could have done things differently, like honestly, we could talk all day long about, well, she said this. And so that's why, she said she wanted help. And that's why I did. None of that matters. None of that matters. Sometimes the hardest part is to let that part go and go, you know what? At the time, that's what she was feeling. And then when she looked at it, for whatever reason, she wanted to cancel. And so we need to cancel the order. And she obviously felt something that wasn't positive. And I don't want her to feel that. And so that's not what I'm in this for. I'm in this to help people. And so the two reasons I'm saying this to her is, number one, to make sure that I am being completely humble, looking at myself going, okay, what could I have done better? She obviously, in this situation, unless she is extreme on one side of the spectrum, she felt pressured. She felt pressured. And somehow the message that happened was, and sometimes it's because we're so good at what we do and we love the oil so much, we get other people so excited. And maybe what it is that we need to get better at finding out what it is that they want and what they need. Because I can sit down with anybody and get them all excited about the oils and they're wanting to buy them by the time I'm done. But that's not what I want. What I want is for them to have their own epiphany. I want to know what they need and what they feel like they would like to do moving forward. And once I know that, I can help them. I can help them buy one oil or no oils or whatever. And so I would guess, based on what I've read about this situation, that is probably the thing that you could work on, Jackie, is absolutely do a better job with the question phase, finding out what they want. Because people I'll tell you what, you guys, especially if we're happy and excited to work with them, they are going to act happy and excited to get the oils. So you kind of almost have to be the excited, happy one, but with skepticism. I don't know if you want these oils. Let me find out. What is it that you need? And then for those of you who haven't seen my how to close a no. What do I do it in? Yeah, my how to close a class video on YouTube. I want you to check out that video. You guys, it's long. Listen to it at 2 times speed, or go. You can even review the part that is step 6, which is the recipe, what I call the recipe. And I go into great detail about how to talk to people, what to say, and how it makes them feel. Because in that moment, I don't care if they didn't come to your class. I don't care what they did or didn't do with you. If you are in a moment where you're helping them decide what oils they want, you should be doing the recipe. Because if you are doing that recipe, then what's going to happen is you will find out what they need. You will find out, it walks them through the process of being able to feel completely comfortable figuring out for themselves the choice they want to make. Now, if they go home and then their husband gets mad because they made that decision, of course, now we've got to deal with those consequences, and here we are dealing with that. So the second reason we're doing that, so the first reason, because we want to make sure that we're getting ourselves to a better and better place about finding out what they need and caring about them. The second reason we're doing that response that I just taught you, is because we need to make sure that they know we don't have any hard feelings. When put yourself in Suzanne's situation, if that's her name. Put yourself in her situation and realize that if here I was talking to Teresa Harding, or I was talking to Jackie, I got excited with her. I told her I wanted the oil. She did all this work to put it, set it all up. She made the order. Now I'm realizing I don't want it. Not only am I frustrated because I feel pressured, I felt pressured from you, but I also feel stupid. And now I'm kind of mad at you, but I'm also mad at me, but I kind of want to blame it on you. And you guys, we know what it's like. We've all been there. So and then we worry. Like if I'm Suzanne, I'm going, now Jackie's going to be bugged. And, we put all these emotions on other people. It's just human nature. We're not perfect. So no matter how good we get at this, sometimes we do that. So I need Suzanne to know that what my attitude completely is, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Let's totally fix this. And I do not want you to feel pressured. So if she can feel that from me, now we can have our relationship stay awesome. But also part of the problem is internal for you. You've got to let it go. Because a lot of times what happens is people, like, we might say the right words. Hey, don't even worry. It's totally fine. Then we go home and tell our husband, oh my goodness, she totally did this. And then I made the order she asked me to. Now she's all mad and she's, are you lying? Did you lie to Suzanne? You lying to your husband? What? Get over it. Get over it and really let it go. You guys, I get this is human nature. This is absolutely something that we all do. So what I'm asking is a way higher standard. Sometimes I catch myself. I do that. If you need to gripe to your husband, gripe to him. But in the process of griping, then you better if you really want to up level, then what you need to do is when I'm griping to my husband, I say, well, she told me to, and I whatever. But the reality is she must have felt pressured and I must have so I need to learn how to do it better. So you can still voice it, but don't voice it to 20 people. Pick your one, your spouse or whatever, because look how hurtful it is that you've had 3 people text you about how rude you were about how you handled this woman. When honestly, that's gossip. How unkind that she went and shared that with those people, although we all need to talk to someone. So it's appropriate to pick someone that you really care about, someone that you trust. But I'll tell you what, the friends I pick to talk to about these things are not the kind of friends that would go text the person. And honestly, when I've had situations like that, one time I had a friend that I really trusted. I really trusted them, and I shared really personal things about some frustrations I was dealing with. And they ended up sharing it with someone else. And it came full circle and came back to the person that I was frustrated with, I was working it out with that person also. But this was my special person that I talked to. We ended up having some really hard conversations in our relationship. What kind of friendship do we really have? And the person honestly responded extremely humbly and apologized and felt sick for a long time about having shared that. And I didn't feel safe to share things with them that a lot of times I would talk with them and work things out in my mind. But over time, we've resolved that, and they have shown humility and care about what happened in that situation, and they're my friend. And so we've resolved that, we've worked through it, and now I trust them again. And they are extremely careful about not talking about things outside of, because when she shared it, it was something she was kind of bragging about me and how I was doing and some of the struggles I face. And it was to people that she felt like, well, they don't even know this person. Well, it doesn't matter. Make sure the people you pick to talk to are people who are totally trustworthy. And you guys, be that trustworthy person. Be that person that if I shared some personal things with you that were hard, you're not jabbering to people privately. Are you the person who goes out and talks about it with everyone? Or that, and that's not okay. Are you the person who goes privately to people one-on-one and says, don't tell anyone. I'm not going to tell anyone else, but guess what? Guess what? That's not trustworthy. That's not trustworthy. And a lot of times women tend to get a worse name about gossip because guess what? That's gossip. That's gossip. So let's up level. We're better than that. And Jackie, what I love about your question is that you're not only are you asking, what do I do now that she's mad? Your question was, what did I do? Well, how can I do better? And so that always kind of touches me because that's a hard question to ask, especially when you're trying. Obviously you're already trying your hardest. You tried to do it nicely. You weren't trying to pressure. You weren't trying to whatever. And so now there's this whole response, and it's really, really hard to go to that place where you're like, is there something I could have done better? It's better. It's easier to protect ourselves and get defensive. So kudos to you, Jackie. But so that's what you do when that problem happens. And then from there, you can see what happens. And a lot of times what happens is when there's been this big of a problem, the person that you've said, I am so sorry, you've let them know there's no problem. I'm sorry. I don't know if you felt pressured. You must have, or whatever. Something that puts it all on you, because you're not going to take responsibility for things that they did. So for example, I'm not going to say, oh, it must be my fault that I didn't ask about her husband. No, it's not your job to ask about the husband. So don't take the responsibility on that isn't yours, but there is responsibility that is yours. So take that on, make sure they know that you're totally good and you care about them more important than whatever happened with the order or whatever. So that's how you handle it after. Before the fact is absolutely the recipe. So I'm not going to go over that here, but I'll give you a few pointers, but then you can go watch my video on YouTube, which is, and go to the part where it talks about this step number 6, where it's the recipe. And I just want you to know that when I teach you about the recipe, there are a few things we do, and they're very much on purpose to handle this kind of situation. I'll tell you, I've dealt with these kinds of situations before. But since I've started doing what I teach you in the How to Close a Class on step 6, the recipe, I probably dealt with it a little bit after that because I hadn't perfected it. But I seriously can't remember the last time anyone has been that way with me after having shared the oils. And I believe it's not because I'm so amazing. It's not because Jackie doesn't care about her people. It's because as you add the little pieces that take care of all the psychological things that could happen in their emotions that they don't even realize, then what happens is it puts them in a safe place. They answer more honestly, and it ends up being a beautiful thing. So let's see. What I want to tell you about the recipe is this. There are a few pointers I'll give you. Number 1, you're asking them, Kay, tell me about the things that are going on with your health, which I'm sure that's, most of us do that anyway. I'm sure that's what Jackie did too. Just a second, I have somebody calling, and I've got to remember to put it on, what do you call it? Put it on Do Not Disturb. So, okay, so what's going to happen is you are going to ask them questions about their health. And honestly, just let them go on as long as they'll go on within a time frame. If they know that you're talking to them and you have 20 minutes, then say, what I'll do is at the beginning, I set the expectation. I say, okay, so what we're going to do is the first 5 or 10 minutes, I just want you to tell me about your health. Tell me what things you're needing. Tell me what. So now they know it's all about me, but we only have 5 or 10 minutes. That way, if at 5 minutes, they're crying, they're having a really hard time, and now we don't want to move on. We don't want to go, hey, I know that's really hard that your husband has cancer and he's dying and he probably only has a month to live, but we need to move on to the next part of this meeting. You can't do that. But you also don't have all day. And my problem was I I wanted to care so much about these people that when that would happen, I would let the conversation go longer and longer. I might be late to my next thing and I'm saying, I'm so sorry. I was talking to someone who had cancer and whatever. But you can't do that. You need to take control. So the way you can take control is say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to spend about 20 minutes right now. And we're going to do this and this and this. And now the first 5 or 10 minutes, I just want to hear about your health, the health challenges that you're having, your family, anything that you want to know more about. And then I can help you figure out what, like the steps we're going to take to help get the support that you need for that. So now they start going. Let's say at 10 minutes, they're crying about the cancer thing. And I do not want to say, okay, well, let's move on. Then this is what you're going to say. You're going to say, but you've got to take control and you can't just keep letting it go forever. So, and some of you guys are going, what on earth are you possibly going to say that's not going to sound rude? I will tell you, and you guys, I'm telling you, it matters to me. So this is years of experience, okay? And so what I'll say is I'll say, you know, I'm crying with them usually, and I'm saying, okay, this is what's going to happen, Suzanne. We obviously need to spend more time on this. So we're gonna spend more time on going into the cancer thing more, because cancer, that's huge. That we can't do that in 20 minutes. But what we're gonna do, but I do know some oils that you can start with. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna set a time right now where we can talk again. And so I get that time on the calendar because we obviously need to go over this some more. But I have another caller. I have to leave in 10 minutes, and I want to make sure that you know what you can start with the what support you can get with the cancer. So you see what I'm doing? I'm going to address the cancer first to make sure she feels like that is important to me. That's the most important thing. So, but before I go, we need to make sure that you have some things that you can start doing so that you're not left just going, okay, but now what do I do? So, but we need to, I have a lot more questions about what's going on with your husband, because it's not only the cancer stuff and the physical stuff, but there's some mental stuff going on because of what you're going through and what your husband, you see how validating I'm being and how caring I'm being about them. So we're not done. And a lot of times they'll say, no, that's okay. To say, no, this is more important. So we are going to take some time for this. You tell me when it's good for you. And I pull my calendar out, we put it on there. And I say, so let's do this, so that before I go, you have a list of things so that you are empowered. By the time I leave, we're going to start making a list. So then we go to the next part, start making the list of the oils. Do you see how beautiful that is? Do you see how not only do they feel cared about, we also are keeping control of our time and control of like the fact that I have to leave. Am I really helping her if I just listen to her and her troubles the whole time, and now I have to leave and I haven't given her any ideas about what oil she could use? Okay, so now I might say, maybe I'll, like sometimes they'll say in the middle, they'll go, but I know we need to move on to the next thing. And I base it on the situation, but in that situation, if I'm thinking, no, they need to be able to talk about this, then I will say, you know what, we do need to go over the other stuff, but this is what we're going to do. Let's spend a few more minutes on this because this is more important. We want to make sure that you have oils. You know, I might leave myself only 5 minutes at the end. Say, okay, we're going to make sure you know what oils to use. You already have some of them. Then you can start using them right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do more research, or I'm going to go, put together a list of items for you, and we're going to get together again. Okay. So that way you can, and I wouldn't set it for tomorrow. You've got to be in control of your own time. If you're going to run a serious business, I don't care if you're a doctor that is taking care of people who are dying. You cannot schedule somebody every single day because they're having a hard time. This is what happens. If you think I am absolutely going to care about these people, but I am also absolutely going to be in control of my time, then your mind starts figuring out a way to make sure both things happen. If you tell yourself, I can't keep control of my time and care about people at the same time, then guess what's going to happen? You will never be in control of your time, and you will constantly be in situations where you're giving up time for something else you had planned for what you are talking with the person about right now, and you're going to feel so sorry for them that you're going to say, you know what, I have time this afternoon. Come back this afternoon. No, I'm going to say, I want you to start using these oils. They feel totally cared about. I'm going to make a note for myself to text them in a few days, whatever. I might even say, I'm going to text you in a couple days, see how it's going. Because I know that I don't have time to do another half-hour meeting because my schedule's full, if that is my schedule. You guys, part of my schedule might be that I'm spending time with my grandkids, or I'm spending time with my husband. I'm not going to give up my date night because somebody else is going through a hard time. Of course, I'm willing to do that. I have done that. But if you do that every single time, then that is going to be a problem. But the beauty of it is when you won't give up your date night, then somebody needs you and you're saying, you know what, give me about an hour. I'm with Roger right now. It's going to take me until about 7:30, but at 7:30, I want to stop by your house. If it's something you really need to go do, because if you don't, you guys in doTERRA, we're helping people with their health every single time. You will miss out on the things that you scheduled because they were important, like time with your family, time on Thanksgiving, time, whatever. But how many times have I stepped away because somebody's having a health challenge that they need to know what oils? Many times. So I'm not saying don't step away. I'm saying it should be a small percentage. Because if we're each helping each other, then I don't have to take care of too many people. You don't have to take care of too many people. So make sure that you're protecting your time. Okay. So the second pointer I would give you, so the pointers in the recipe section, number one, you're saying, okay, what are your health challenges? Number two, you're saying, okay, what oils do you already have? And number three, you're having them make a list under each health challenge of all the oils that are oils that they would need. And you're going to let them have access to an essential oil book so that they can be looking through and say, oh, for this health challenge, the first three oils say these. They're going to be writing them down because guess what you're teaching them? You're teaching them they don't need to call you just because they have questions about oils. Go look in the book. They're like, oh, this is easy. I can do it. Why would I call Teresa when I can just look in the book? She's just going to look in the book. Do you see what you're doing? So there are steps in this process that are going to change your life. And two more things I want to say before I move on to the next question. Number one, the last thing you're doing is you're helping them figure out the cost of each of those sections, each health challenge and those oils for that specific health challenge. They're figuring out the cost of each of those individually. And then in that not three pathways, in how to close a class, in that recipe section at the end, in step 6, I teach you exactly what to do to handle the questions about the money. It's awesome. Okay, so go and check that out. That will help you know what to do. And excellent question, Jackie. Thank you. And I know that's a question that so many people have in different different parts of that question. So I think that one's going to help a lot of people. Okay, so now let's see. Cindy is asking, what tips do you have for doing my 100 list? My mind always goes blank. I can only think of people that I don't know personally. That is awesome. That is a really good question. Let me tell you something that the research shows, and this might shock you, because a lot of times people feel like, and I love the way, even Cindy, even the way you worded that question, it wasn't putting any responsibility on someone else. You're like, help me think of people. You're not saying, I don't know anyone. I don't have that many friends, whatever. You're not saying that. You're saying, listen to how she worded that. And don't worry, don't get scared about the way you word your questions. If you word them in a way that's selfish, hello, we all do that, and we're not taking responsibility. That doesn't matter to me. But when I notice that somebody words it like this, it is very impressive. But so what tips do you have for doing my 100 list? My mind always goes blank, taking responsibility. I can only think of people that I don't know personally. So not putting the blame on anyone else. I don't know those people, whatever, okay? So this is what I'm going to tell you. Number one, I want you to write down a list. Quit, don't worry about your 100 list for just a second. Write down a list of every single thing that you do. Like look at your week, look at your last month. And I want you to look at everywhere you went. I went to the park. I went to the bank. I did this. I went here. I went to church. I played basketball. Whatever. If you start writing down every single thing, every place you went, and there were people there. So for example, I went to the store because I was getting Christmas presents, or it was, Black Friday. Then what's going to happen is then I want you to think about, after you write the list, I want you to think about the people that you met in there and all the people that were there, because there are a lot of times there are people there that, number one, you talk to like your bank teller. You see them all the time, but maybe at church, there are people you see all the time, but you don't think of them because you don't have a close relationship with them or whatever, okay? So that's one thing I want you to do. Your hairdresser, you'll start thinking of things that you hadn't thought of before. So I'll give you an example. My husband is a dentist, Roger, okay? He's an awesome dentist, by the way. He's a perfectionist, which is why he's so good, because dentist perfectionist is exactly what you want. But I want you to think about this. We moved to Utah, and we didn't really know a lot of people here. We moved in, and he started his practice. Where do you think he got people who came to his practice? Yes, he got people who were already going to that specific dental practice. Even the people he already knew, he had to show extra love because they were used to the old dentist that we bought the practice from. And so there are certain steps he took to help them feel loved and cared about so they want to keep coming. But outside of that, let's pretend like he didn't even have that. Outside of that, where did he get his patients from? His patients came from people he met at church who, because they liked him and they felt cared about by him, they find out he's a dentist and then they go, oh, where do you work? They came from me bragging about him, whether it's church or anywhere. And people are talking about a dentist, or they ask what my husband does. Oh, he's a dentist. I don't just say, oh, he's a dentist. I say, he's a dentist. And oh my goodness, he is the best dentist. He's the only one I trust because he's such a perfectionist. That's all I have to say. And already, and he does a good job with my teeth. My teeth are straight. And so people see those things and they go, wow, I want to check. When they need a dentist, what are they thinking? I'm interested in checking out Roger. Okay, so they came from me. They came from us going to our boys' school events, their training events, their helping with their teams. Like Roger was the coach on one of the teams. He got to know the parents. He got to know the kids on the team. We got to know them from, maybe some of the people were from going to, oh my goodness, my mind just went blank. What are those called? The community meetings that you go to that for, oh my goodness, my mind is blank. Like community outreach, but I'm thinking of not political events, but the board, like the city board, going to events like that and meeting people there. And then they know what he does. You guys, we have a list of probably 20 places that he got patients from, not only from his kids' friends, but from playing basketball, from everything that he's involved in. These are people that he knows. And once people know that you do it, without being pushy, of course, then not only does it come up, and sometimes they'll reach out to you, but sometimes they're talking about their health issues or their health challenges. We're not supposed to say issues, but then what happens is they're interested in coming to you. I've had people who come to me years later who say, hey, I know you do essential oils, and I'm skeptical about them, but I am wondering, I have this, and I see the way that you work with people. And so I felt like it was safe to talk to you or whatever. Or sometimes they don't say those words, but I can tell. They're skeptical. They're afraid that it might have been the wrong choice to talk to me, but they were willing to because they've seen how I approach people and how I don't try to push it and I just act mainstream about it. I don't act all eccentric about it. And you can be eccentric about it, but you don't need to treat other people like that. You can be however you want to be. But you've got to make sure that the message you send out to the world and the people who see you have whatever reputation you want. But it's got to be open enough that people feel like, oh, this is someone I can ask questions. If you want to be, if you want your reputation to be in such a way that most people don't feel like they can ask you questions, that's great. That's fine if that's what you want. For example, there might be people who their podcasts are all about politics and they're reaming on people. Some of them are just sharing information. Some of them, they're reaming on people and telling how dumb this situation is. And, they might be entertaining to listen to, but that's not the person that most people are going to come and ask, hey, what do you think about this? Or, I'm having questions about this and I'm not sure what I should do. Because they already know you're one-sided and that's the way it is. So you've got to be, I don't care what you feel about the oils and how you feel about natural things. You've got to have a reputation that's open enough that you're accepting of anybody and wherever they're coming from. I don't care if it's people who absolutely disbelieve in natural things, that you're open to that and realize why they are where they are and that they've gotten help from the medical field that is wonderful. And that should be something that we're glad for them. So be thinking about that, okay? So, oh, the last thing, this is the best help. Those are all helpful, but I'll tell you the best help is that we have a list for you. It comes from Eric Worre. He created a list that is so inclusive, it's unbelievable. And I'm almost positive it's on my website, teresaharding.com. Look in the resources section. It should be in the handouts in the business section, okay? Go to resources, business, and then you can find the handouts. So this is what I want you to look for. It is, I can't remember what he calls it, but it's like, in the title, it says something about the 100 list. And it's basically a list of every single thing that you can think of that helps you think of people. Oh my goodness, I do know a hairdresser. Oh my goodness, I do know this person. And remember, when we make our 100 list, just remember this. A lot of times people are afraid to put the name on the list, but the reason they're afraid is because they're afraid of what the approach is going to be. And remember, what I teach you in the One Sample Away, if you haven't heard about that, go to onesampleaway.com and check it out. It is phenomenal for helping you build your business. And we're starting to run it regularly because we're getting the response that that's what people are wanting. It's changing people's lives. How many of you have heard of the summit that's going to happen in January? Elise is putting it on, and they've partnered, doTERRA has partnered with her to put it on. She's going to be teaching exactly what we walk you step by step through in the One Sample Away. We're the only ones I know of who teach this outline, this simple, how to build your business. It gets people business builders right away. If you need a business builder and you do One Sample Away, you will get a business builder within the first couple of weeks. So I guarantee it, if you do exactly what we teach you. And so if you have a chance to go to that summit, go to the summit. It's going to be awesome. And it's basically training how to do that. The awesome thing about the One Sample Away is after you go learn how to do it, then you sort of have to make yourself do it or you don't do it. And so what we do in the One Sample Away, onesampleaway.com, I hold your hand. And I give you every day, I teach you exactly what you need, and I give you the assignment for the day. And I walk you through it the entire time. And you have Curtis Harding, who is he's the one that holds your feet to the fire. And so there's a video in there from him every single day, and he helps you know how to follow through and complete the assignment. You guys, it's powerful. And we're getting a lot of awesome responses from that. Okay, so if that 100 ideas list is not on my website, we're going to make sure it is. So I know my office team, they monitor what I say on these things. I say, hey, if I make promises, you guys need to make sure we follow through and give those. So we'll make sure that's up there. All right. And we have permission to do that. So, okay. Let's see. The next question is from Lisa. Top tips for retention and loyalty rewards. And number 2, where to place 1s, 2s, and 3s. Or committeds, capables, or just capables. Is there a video on this? Yes, these are loaded questions. So top tips for retention and loyalty rewards. Let me tell you, if you want people to get on loyalty rewards, then you need to listen to the recipe portion. Well, not just the recipe portion, you need to listen to how to close a class. Because even if you're not teaching actual classes, what I teach you is something you can do on the one-on-ones, you can do whenever you're working with someone. But if you want to know how to enroll someone and have it not feel pressure and all of that, listen to step 6 of how to close a class. If you want to know how to get someone on LRP and get a higher percentage of people on LRP than you've ever seen before, then you go listen to how to close a class. It will be a lot of extra information that will help you anyway in your classes, but throughout, there are little pieces of things that I teach that are basically, if you haven't heard of assuming the sale is something that happens in business. And it's simply, you know, we tend to not love that term because it sounds aggressive and we don't want to be pushy. But what assuming the sale literally means is, guess what? By the time I'm done talking with you, I know you're going to want the oils. Well, guess what? When I'm teaching a class, I know that by the time I'm done, everybody in the room wants the oils. It's usually a matter of money, or maybe they're still not sure if does it really work. If it really works the way I say it works, everybody wants them. So I assume the sale. I know that people want these oils. And if by the time, but you do it in a way that doesn't feel like you're dumb if you don't. Okay. So what I do in the How to Close a Class, and that's part of why it's so powerful, is throughout the entire thing, there are little things I'm doing that help them before I even start the class, they're already ready to make a list that is the oils that they're interested in. And you'll see why. I show you why. And that's why that video is so long, is because I don't just teach you what to do. I explain why you say it that way, what they're feeling right now when you do this. And it makes you recognize, oh, so that is important to say it that way because, yes, it's true. I see why they feel that way. So that's what I'm doing there. So that's where I would find information about the LRPs. As far as retention, oh my goodness, I haven't really shared this yet, but I'm gonna give you guys kind of a pre-peek into this. This is what we've been working on in our office because, you know, we get enrollments online, and what we've been working on is how do we follow up with these people? And my goal is to turn it up online, but I'm not doing that until after I'm making sure we're taking good care of these people. I had somebody say to me, trying to remember who it was. If I remember, I want to give her credit for it. But, oh, Lisa Kazi. I think it was Lisa Kazi. But she said, if I can't give these people world-class service, then I shouldn't be selling them the oils anyway. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's absolutely true. But how do we do that? Because the bigger your team gets, the more time it's going to take. Well, what we've been working on is a way to follow up with these people, automating every possible thing that we can so that they feel supported and loved, and they get involved in the groups and they get everything they need, because we also know we need face-to-face. But honestly, we only need minimal face-to-face, maybe less than we realize, if they're getting all the support that they need. So they don't need a face-to-face with me telling them every little thing, but they might need something once a week where they feel cared about, where I'm texting them or doing, something like that. So we just launched it with our team, and I am so excited about it because with the enrollments that are coming in, we just launched it last week, and we're doing our own tests on it. And by the way, what we've created is absolutely based on all the tests and the studies we've been doing and the market research, everything. So I am seriously so excited about it. When it was all completed and my team had done what they needed to do to make sure it was ready, they were showing it to me, and I started crying. I started bawling because I was like, oh my gosh, this is what we've been needing, and this is what we've been working on for so long. I am so excited about it, and I believe it's going to up our retention. All the pieces, all these things I teach you about psychology, all the things that I'm like, you got to treat people this way, you got to do this, do that, all these things. We have automated everything that can be automated. We're working on it now and having some of our leaders do trial runs with it with us so that we can figure out any bugs or perfect any of the stuff. And you guys, I'm going to, when we've done some testing, then I'm going to just show you. I'm going to just give it to you. I'm going to let you guys have access to it, and we've created it and you can just use it. So I'm super, super excited about it. It will up the retention. And as far as, since you don't have that yet, my answer would be follow up, follow up, follow up. And every time that you are done talking to someone, you have told them you are going to follow up. You've told them when you're going to follow up, and you've told them why. But keep in mind, it sounds like this. It doesn't sound like, okay, I'm going to follow up with you and I'm going to make sure I keep hounding you. That's not what it sounds like. If I've just finished talking to you about the oils and you've told me about your husband's health challenges with the cell mutations and you're working with an oncologist and whatever, now what's going to happen? I'm going to say, okay, so you should get your oils by Friday of next week. And I want to make sure you get them. So what I'm going to do is I'll call you on Friday, make sure you got your oils, and I'll see if you have any more questions. Okay, was that one sentence or two sentences? I said I was going to call because I wanted to check up on them to make sure they got the oils. I said why I was going to. I said I was going to call. I said why, to check up, make sure they got the oils, and I said when I was going to call on Friday. So listen to that again and look how quick it is. So you should get your oils on Friday. I'm not following up yet. I'm just saying you should be getting your oils by Friday. Now is the follow-up part. I say, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call you on Friday because I want to make sure you got your oils. I want to see if you have any questions. That's it. And every time you're done talking to someone, there should be that. You include those three things, and it might not be for another month. You're going to be going on your trip. You're going to be gone for 3 weeks. So use your oils. Have fun with them while you're gone, blah, 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 whatever. And so when do you get back again? And they tell you, I say, okay, so you know what I'll do is I'll text you you're going to get back on Thursday, and I don't want to bug you. You're going to want to get your stuff done. So I'll wait till Monday. On Monday, I'll give you a text and kind of see how it's going, see if you have questions about the oil. You see what I'm saying? So totally do that. Tyler's saying, don't be codependent. Good advice. Okay, let me see. Tamara says, OSA is awesome. It got me off my butt. Yes, that makes me so excited. And you guys were hearing this over and over. Okay, Cindy says, love your training. You're a very giving person. Oh, thanks, Cindy. Cindy, that was your question. So thanks for giving the questions, because that's what makes a difference. Let's see. Oh, Lisa, I'm trying to read the questions, and then you guys are saying some awesome stuff. She says, you've changed my life. I got back to gold this month. You are awesome. So that I love to share. Seriously, you guys, it excites me more than anything. You know what we're gonna have to start doing is, those of you who do the one sample away, we're gonna start tracking it when you hit. because I want to be able to let people know, look, of the people who do one sample away, this percentage ranked up within the next 30 days or whatever. We want to be able to keep track of that, because I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. And that's why I do all of this. You guys, I could spend all my time going to build my business and grow to double. But I have learned so much. I want to give you that too. And guess what? Guess what's happening? Because I'm sharing that with you, as I bring new people in, now I've got videos. I've got videos because I was willing to help other people. And now my new people, I don't have to recreate the video. We already have the video. Teaching people, I'm like, oh, listen to the one where I taught about this. Okay. Let's see. If I have time, I'll do one more. Okay. Oh, Lisa was asking, where do I place 1s, 2s, and 3s? And she's talking about the 3 pathways. If you haven't seen my 3 pathways video, go check that out. But I've got an awesome answer for this, and we are going to make it better, but there is a video. There are a lot of videos, actually, and they're long. But you guys, placements is kind of a big deal. Placements is a really big deal. And in order to help you not make mistakes, I want to make sure you have all the information you need. So I just need you to understand that in this group started because people wanted to know about placements. So the very first videos in this group were all about placements. And so there are 8 weeks that I did an hour, hour and a half. It's between an hour and 2 hours every single video. And I just want you to go check those out. I think they're labeled pretty well. I'll have my team double check it, because maybe if we can label them better, it'll be easier for you to find what it is that you're looking for when you have questions about placements. But the first video of the 8 weeks, the first video, I was doing an overview. And then I realized from the questions, oh my goodness, we need to start at the very beginning. And so after that, it's good to watch that first one, but realize that that's what that is. Then the next week, week 2, is where I start at the beginning. And I explain everything. And I go through, in the 8 weeks, I go through step by step, all the placement stuff. And we still didn't cover everything, but went through a lot of detail, explained about placements. I explained about what your goal is in placements. I explained what you're looking for. I explained how to talk to people when you place them under someone. I explained so many things. Then we go through all the biggest mistakes people make in placements. Then I go, in another video, I go through how to fix those mistakes. And then, you guys, I think it's week 7 or 8, in one of the last ones, after you understand all the stuff, all the mistakes, how to fix it, all the stuff, then I take a team that has a lot of the problems that you and I all have on our teams, the mistakes that we've made. And it's a pretty normal team, but it's somebody who is struggling to hit gold. They're like a duct tape silver, but going for gold. And I show you the team, and then I show you how to use those fixes for each different piece of the team. And by the time we're done, I think there are about, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 different fixes that we do. And by the time we're done, this person is almost blue diamond. Okay, I am telling you. I know how to train you on placements. I know how to help you with that. It's so much information, and depending on what you need to know, I am telling you, go watch those videos. They're very rough draft, but that was a good start. And after I'm done with our getting all the videos done for the 30-day onboarding for our funnel system stuff that we're doing, then I'm going to be going back and we have so many videos to do, but what I'm doing is the videos that are most urgent first, and then I'll go back and redo the videos that aren't as good, and we'll make them better. So you guys are awesome. Didn't get to all the questions, but thank you so much for your questions. You guys are the best, and I would love to hear how your Thanksgiving was. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If it was a thumbs down, then I hope your week is better this week, but I hope you had fun with your family, with your friends, and thanks for joining me, you guys. Love you guys. Let's see. Where is the training for placement? You probably asked that before I finished answering, but it is here. It's on this website, and maybe we should put it in units. I'll talk to my team about possibly putting it in the unit section so that they're easier to find and they're all in order. So anyways, love you guys, and talk to you later. Bye.